Okay, so often in my videos I mention the New World Order and the whole thing about we live in a society that is false. It's a narrative, it's a dystopian sort of agenda for control. We live in a parallel sort of environment. It's not real. It's been obviously in the making for a number of years. Certainly since the year 1666, which was the year of the Great Fire of London and the Black Plague, because the government actually declared all living citizens as lost or dead at sea. Bear in mind that we were a very maritime nation. We had the best navy in the world, and we used it to conquer other places around the world. So they changed the law of the land, which was common law, into the law of the sea, or otherwise known as maritime law. You can look up maritime law and find out more about this, but with maritime law, they have their own language, legalese. It's the same words but different meanings, and you can look up in Black's Law, this dictionary, look up the word human, person and mandatory, because you will find you'll be very shocked at those meanings. But the government really set the agenda for the future of mankind in our country, in our world, because everything is based upon a lie. The whole system is corrupt. There is a requirement that everything is contract. So if you want to engage with the authorities, it's all about contract, whether that's verbal or written. It doesn't really matter, but it comes under the maritime law. Now, even from birth, this has been a scam, and of course, you have the word and the meanings of words, which are very, very interesting. Have a look at this video where he talks about the various meanings of words, because it will help you understand what we're talking about in the rest of the video.
There are over 100 words for deception in the English language, the most deceiving language of them all. There's so much deception that they even throw it in our faces with the use of daily words. Hello. Oh, hell. Good morning. Morning is something that we do at a funeral when we mourn. How many days are in a week? Takes you a little time to think about that, which leaves you in a daze. And when you think too much, it makes you become weak. And at the end of the week, it's the weekend. You're weakened. And then when we go to work, to our job means persecuted in Hebrew. And we have to go to make a living, to earn. And earn is a place for the ashes. And when we wake up in the morning, we use an alarm. And then we instruct our body by pressing snooze. And after about 10 years, you reach a decade. You're decayed. And when you find all this out, all you want is justice. It just is. And when you realize you see what the English language is all about.
So certainly when you say good morning, you're referring to the dead. You're referring to mourning, to the idea that the world, the government considered everybody to be dead. You're all dead. You're a dead person, basically. Your real person, which is you as a human being, i.e. your common law sort of persona, and then you have your Strawman, All of this is going to be very confusing, but you are two things. You are the outside world, which is your straw man, your full name, and usually your full name is, for example, Andrew Wright. That is my straw man name. My name is Andrew, and my family name is Wright. But if you use the straw man, which you obviously do with everyday life, that is your full name, and you will find that usually when they are addressing you in communication, it will be in capitals. So Andrew Wright will be in capitals usually. I've noticed that they're not doing that so often, but it generally is. That's the reason for capital letters. Now, even from birth, our parents' for 400, 500 years have been hoodwinked. We've been conned. We've been scammed by the government. All of this to make money. So, think about it. When you are born, you come out your mother's water, your water breaks. It's all maritime references. You're labelled a maritime admiralty product. So you don't belong to your parents. You are a product of the state. Now, obviously, when you are born, they give birth. Birth being a term for where your ship is docked. So being there, and there is a birth certificate, which obviously informing the authorities a product has just been delivered. So a birth certificate that people voluntarily make and register you. So you are registered as a birth, informing them that you are now ready to be scammed for the rest of your life in this whole system. It's all regulated under commercial law, the law of the sea, not the law of the land. Your parents are being the informer, informing the bankers, and the bankers, they set up an account in your strawman name because that's what they do. And all through your life, they're making money from you. They're trading on your being, your product. It's all very confusing, I know. Parents, remember the wording, your pair, and they're renting you as a person. You don't belong to them. You belong to the state, a product of the state. Only when you step out of the system do you have the chance to become a living being. I don't profess to understand everything because I'm still learning about this. However, I know a man that does. Okay, so welcome, and I've got my guest with me today. I'm going to let him introduce himself, but this is Andy Barlow, and we have met before on the channel. And if you want to go and watch the previous video, there'll be a link down below. You can go and watch that. There was two parts to it. One was a full interview, and then there was a clip talking about how to get rid of your electricity bills, which I have done. I am now saving myself £200 a month. So thank you very much for that, because that was something that has helped me out quite a lot. I'm still not there, not quite there yet, but I'm nearly there. I've not paid the bill, and they're not really bothering me too much. But I'm going for the big bonus of an invoice.
Good on you.
Because I need to get some money off them. Anyway, so I really appreciate your time, and I know you're really busy, and I thank you very much for that. So what I'd like you to tell my subscribers and viewers, because I've been talking about this for a long time, and people often go, I don't know what the hell you're on about. How did we get in this mess that we're in? And I'm talking about things like, I'm a living man, and that is not the the way that they behave, that they are creating this pretend fiction thing that they've got, and we've been in this forever. Because I'm 61, and I don't know any different up until recently. So for me, it's my whole life. So Andy, would you mind just rewinding back as far as you can go, and just give us a quick overview of how we got here?
I think I remember coming out the womb. Yeah, it's a lot of history out there. There's a lot of, I mean, obviously it's down to history is his story. Someone else wrote it, so question everything. Otherwise, you're never going to get the real answers. So let's think about this. Okay, lots of things out there, lots of research on my website. You can go on there, it's not a problem. Download what you need. But I
will put the link down below so people can go and click on it as well, so they can find you and your website.
Thank you very
much.
I
didn't want to interrupt you. I'd tell you that. While you're there.
Anyway, let's take it back. So there's all this talk about the Setteke v. Trust. So back in 1666, I'm not a history buff. I can only tell you my truth. I can only tell you what I've done and how I've researched, etc. 1666, Great Fire of London, apparently, allegedly. Still wait for evidence of that, but history says it will happen. So we have to believe that, do we? Are we indoctrinated to believe this? So basically, the Pope wants to become the richest man in the world and own everybody. So they brought maritime law onto the land and declared everybody dead, lost at sea, and you had 7 years to claim your life, in a nutshell. But let's be honest. There's all this talk about being private. This is where people want to get to know about the Strawman, etc. The Strawman is based on a 1935, 1937 film called The Wizard of Oz. If you look in The Wizard of Oz, every information you need to know about the Strawman is in there. Because
that's interesting. I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Okay. So, yeah. If you think about it, Hollywood is... When you look at the word Hollywood, holly is the strongest wood you can make wands out of. So Hollywood means that's where the magic happens. So they have to put everything in plain sight. It's karmic. If they don't do it, then spiritually karma will get them. So they have to give us so our free will accept their offer of contract. So that's how they do it. So if you look at the Wizard of Oz, classic example, can't remember the year, 37, 38, whatever. You had the Wizard of Oz, which was wisdom ounces. So gold and silver is weighed in ounces, same as babies are. You had four characters? You had Dorothy, Cowardly Lion, Tin Man, Wizard of Oz. So, sorry. So obviously the Cowardly Lion was the bully. He was the guy representing the bar, solicitors and barristers. Big bully man. Look at me, I'm the magistrate. You had the Tin Man, which was the tax identification number, and then you had the Straw Man, which is basically what your birth certificate is your fiction is the Straw Man. So the Straw Man wanted a heart, I think it was, or a brain, but he got certificate, and that is there showing you what it is. So your Straw Man is basically a piece of paper with a name on it. You are not that name. You carry that name. That name is not you unless you joined it to it. Does that make sense?
Am I right that it's Crown copyright? Is that something that I've read somewhere?
Yes.
Your legal fiction name is copyright the Crown.
Correct. So how can you ever own it? You can't.
Interesting. And is it usual? I know I'm saying this because I know it, but I'm doing it for everybody else. Your name, if it's in capital letters, is that like your straw man name?
Correct. Yeah. I mean,
how is it that I have some official bills that are in lowercase of proper case?
Upper and lowercase, because they can still use that. They're basically we get ourselves into trouble. Okay, let's go down that road, because they will send you notices or letters down through the post, and it's upper and lowercase. But have you ever noticed when it gets to the final letter, your surname goes into caps? So at the moment they're talking to you, or that they're presuming you are you, they're talking to the name, which is a corporation, a fiction, a legal entity, dead, whatever you want to call it. But they'll be quite nice to it. So your presumption is, oh, they're talking to me because look, they've made it a lowercase name.
Yeah.
But it's a trick. It's all tricks, all an illusion. It's like the wizard himself. He was just a fraud. He's a fake. So they hide things in plain sight. So they'll continue going. But then when you get to the final stage of them having a go at you or trying to chase you, they will go down the road of saying, I'm now going to put your name in all capitals, last surname.
Right.
That they need. So it's our presumption, and that's the big thing that gets into trouble. Presumption is what causes us to fall down the rabbit hole.
So we've got to the point where we have this pretend persona, and again, persona, pretend fiction, that we are indoctrinated into thinking that we are that from birth, really.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this to some people, that obviously birth being a nautical term.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, you were born onto the land, you were born into the private. Okay. Then your parents, which we all know what parents means, parenting, ask the parents, please be good parents and go and register your child or children. Children, when you look at the etymology of the word, means cold individual. So, and then so it's all spells, everything spells. So we go off and register our child. Are we registering the child? No, we're not. We don't register the young one at all. We're registering a business corporation. We're registering almost like a limited company, for want of a better word. But we're not registering the young one. All we're doing is registering the placenta, which passed away, and the placenta creates the strawman. And the strawman is all it is a corporation's dead entity. So a corporation can only talk to a corporation. A corporation can't contract with a man.
So me as a living man would have no dealings with any of these corporations.
Correct.
Which is where we come out of the system. We come out of it and we say, we are living people.
Yeah.
Can I say people? Is that still
the term? That's it. People is plural of men and women.
Okay. So living people.
And you got persons, which is obviously the plural of person. I mean,
person.
Exactly. A person is, well, like you say, persona or personable, which is basically a mask wearer in the Latin translation.
Yeah.
So these things you've got to be careful of what we use. But I always use, when people say, who are you? I said, well, who are you? They say, are you Andrew Barlow? Have you got any evidence I am?
This is what I love. This is the bit of it that I really love playing with. And
it's good, isn't it?
It's really good. But you have to be very aware of dropping yourself back into the old ways and using language that you shouldn't be using. It is so easy. And I found myself the other day going downtown and somebody was coming the other way. Good morning. Oh, good morning. I thought, oh no, I don't want to say good morning. Morning, as in mourning the dead. And I thought, no, I'm making an effort to say hello or how are you or hiya or some other term other than good morning.
Well, if you're going to worry about words, don't say hello either.
Oh right.
Hell.
Yes, hell.
Hell and low. So, but I don't worry about words anymore. I mean, I've gone down that path. I've looked at all these, and I think, okay, it's my intention on how I use the word.
Yeah.
So spiritually wise, I look at it and go, actually, I'll say good morning because I don't mean anything bad by that. If I see someone I don't like, good morning, officer. But like I say, these are again distractions. I just do what I want to do now. I don't worry.
Yeah, but if you were trying to train yourself to be thinking as a living man, living people, and that you want to be able to train yourself to do away with it and think in the positive. It is quite challenging, and I know that for a fact.
Me too.
Boom. Exactly.
Things that day you were born onto the planet. You're born into the private. We know that. Okay, so then they register the name, so that you take your father's name. and then you're registered. So the register obviously means that you're owned by the Crown, as you say, Crown copyright. So how can you ever own your name? So all these people out there saying, yes, we're going to take back our name and we're going to have all this money and everything. No, you're not. It ain't going to happen. It's their system.
No.
That.
Yeah.
You just got to learn how to play the game, as I call it, and that's all I do.
Yep.
I play the game as best I can, and I go out and test things. So, but if you think about how we operate as men and women, we were created by God, created the universe, whatever your belief system is.
Yep.
Okay, as man and woman.
Yep.
We were given dominion on the planet, realm, whatever you call it, whether it's flat Earth, round Earth, I don't care. You're given dominion. You're given guardianship of it. Basically, you put it into trust. So we were told in trust we had to look after this planet. Did a good job. But then we went and created, men and women went and created government. Government, for those who don't know, means control the mind. With the Latin translation,
government. Yeah. Yeah.
So government, Latin translation means control mind. And then they went and created persons. So a person is dead. It's not alive. So it can never be alive. Okay. So we are only ever supposed to answer to one master, which is our creator. We're not supposed to worship earthly kings, i.e. governments, film stars, pop stars. We're not supposed to worship those. It's how they want us to do that. So they drag us into the right. You're gonna like this celebrity and you're gonna follow them. And we're not supposed to do it. We're supposed to just be us and just be me.
Actually, am I a celebrity? Because people, I'm on dodgy wicket there, I think.
No, you're not. Because at the end of the day, you're there. You're aware. I don't try not to use weight too much. You're aware of what's going on. You're aware of how it works. So, yeah, So what is a celebrity? It's just someone who wants a brand, a title. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You're a man. You're a man who's doing wonderful things, and that should be applauded. So, yes.
Yeah. So is it right? I know it's right because I know the answer. Again, I'm doing it for the people that are watching. That when you're born, obviously they measure you in ounces, don't they? That refers to something, doesn't it?
It goes back to the old saying, from what I understood. Like I say, please don't always trust everything that comes out of my mouth. I'll say to all your listeners, do your own due diligence, do your own research. It comes back from the old saying, you're worth your weight in gold. When you were used to when they're born, the churches would hand out money to the parents, say this is for the young one, this is for the young one. Gold was mainly used for royalty, but silver was given to the paupers. So we were the paupers, as still shown by your passport, which showed you as a pauper. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
You look on your passport. I haven't got mine with me, but near the photograph, top left, it says a P. Basically means you're a pauper.
Oh, okay.
P, pauper, persons, personable. So you're always going to be a pauper.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's amazing. I love this stuff. I really do. And the more you think you know, the less you know. Because like that, I mean, that's just surprising. I'm just shocked by that. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
like everything else.
They do. What do they do with that money?
What do they do with it?
Yeah.
Basically, the birth certificate itself is part of a trust. I mean, there's 3 documents created when you're born. There's the Crown documents, you've got the live birth certificate and the registered live birth, and then you've got the birth certificate itself. That creates the triangle of the trust. So basically, that money goes into trust. I'm not saying your individual certificate has created a trust. It's multiple birth certificates at once going into what I think is termed as a concentric trust. So it's trust within a trust within a trust within a trust within a trust. So therefore, this money is being bought and sold on stock markets all over the world. So your birth certificate number is invariably class part linked to the stock market, securities commissions. Okay. Your national insurance number is part of the bank account. So basically, everything's interlinked together, same as your NHS number, and then basically they just trade amongst it. So they have access to all of that.
And this obviously has been going on forever. I mean, since they first set this up.
Oh God, this has been going for thousands of years. This is why their system is perfect. The way they run it is perfect.
Yeah, it's genius. It's actually quite genius, isn't it? When you think about it.
Yeah. It's like when Divok 91. I always say it that way because if you say it the other way around, COVID,
that's we get banned.
Yeah. Well, Divok, if you say it correctly, it's actually black magic. So say you're creating a curse. So if you say it the other way around, div up 91, you're actually reversing the curse.
Ah.
Tom Barnett in Australia told me that one.
Oh right, Tom. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I've been watching some of his videos. Yeah.
He's very good.
Oh
very
wow, wow, that's amazing.
Good. Mhm.
And of course, it doesn't ban you, does it?
No, exactly.
Like we can be.
Yeah.
So how all of this then? So we've all been brainwashed into this from birth.
Mhm.
We go through our life. We go to school. That's
Mhm.
another problem.
Yeah, prison cell.
Yeah. Indoctrination,
Yeah.
programming.
They basically they just want to teach you what they want you to understand. I mean, understand whatever you word you want to use.
Yes,
tried
I
to
want to
use
ask you about that. I didn't understand what understand meant.
But basically, this is why I put it is understand means if someone says, "Do you understand me?" and you say, "Yes, I do," then the person who asked that question, I use the first name person, means they stand above you. They're standing above you.
Right. Okay. So stand under.
Inner stand means internally, I stand in myself. I stand in my own power. So I inner stand in my own power. Basically, that's how I look at it. There's obviously multiple ways.
Could you say I comprehend?
You could. There's no reason why not. Again,
So if they ask you a question, you say, "Yeah, I comprehend you." All right, I comprehend your question, rather than saying, "I understand."
You can use whatever word you want. It's just don't say understand when you're dealing with figures of so-called authority.
Oh, so-called.
No one has authority over a living man or woman. You are your own author of your.
Well, we are sovereign beings, aren't we? I mean, let's face it.
Well, sovereign's just a word.
Yeah, but it does imply that you are, above everything else.
Well, we are.
Like
your creator, man and woman, government, persons. So government have no power over us as men and women. Then you have power over the persons.
So how do they get away with the idea that they can tell you to do something and majority of people do it?
Because we're stupid enough to believe them. Sorry, my power's just going off on me.
So the key point is to believe nothing, and everything that comes out their mouths is a lie.
It's not a lie; it's an offer.
An offer, yeah. Okay.
So basically, they're offering something to us, and therefore we just go, "Okay, I'll take it," and then we get ourselves into trouble. I mean, think of it this way: when you're born into the private, you're born with unlimited resources at your fingertips. Everything out there is free. Take what you need, but don't be greedy. That's basically how it works. So you take whatever resources you need. But unfortunately, they trick us into wanting their little shiny goods. So we get unalienable rights to everything, but then they trick us and they say, well, actually, would you like a mortgage? How about a new car? How about this? How about that? So we give away our rights for their benefits and privileges. The benefit and the privileges: a mortgage, a loan, credit card, bank account, driver's license, passports, because these are all for persons. They're not for the men and women. We have unalienable rights to travel freely in the world, but we can't because they control it at this moment in time.
Yeah. So and you'd have a hard job if you tried. If I wanted to go to Thailand and I said, look, I've got inalienable rights, I'm a living man, and they would tell me to get lost.
Or they might turn around and say, prove it.
Yeah.
So in their system, how would you prove you're alive in their system?
Exactly. Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it? So basically, our whole life, contracting, offers of contracting, and we have the choice to accept or not accept.
Correct.
Depending on whether that is beneficial to us or not.
Yeah, because the way I look at it is this is a consent-based realm. So everything is offered to us, and it's up to us whether we consent to it or not.
And when you hear the word, "Oh, that's mandatory," I love that one. I really do love that one.
Yeah, people, you must do this. Thank you. I don't consent.
Oh, well, I don't think I will. Thank you. Yeah, and it's quite true. It is optional, even though they allegedly brainwash you to believe that you have to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't.
No,
Any
it
law, any
is
law.
Law, basically, the way I look at law is for this: cause no harm, cause no loss. Simple as that.
Yeah.
To
So
yourself.
that's more a common law type thing, isn't it? That one.
Yes, common law. Well, common law is basically natural law. It's the law of the
Natural
land.
law. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but common law technically is a piece of paper. It's case law that's based in courts. So equity will always trump common law.
So as far as a living person, a living man, compared to a person, because the person is dealing with acts of parliament and laws, which obviously the living man does not have to abide by. So basically, there's only a few that we actually have to abide by in our life.
I think if you look on the National College of Policing or whatever, you type into Google or something, I think something like crimes, police crimes that you can be arrested for, whatever, or charged for, something like 147 different variations of crime. Out of that, there's only 7 that applies to man and woman. It's all about causing fraud, loss, grievous bodily harm, assault and battery, rape, murder, manslaughter, all those sort of things. Those are the only laws that we can be held accountable for as a living man or woman. Because if we cause harm to someone else, or we cause harm to ourselves, we have to pay the penalty for it. So we could be prosecuted. So as long as you're not harming anyone and causing a loss to anyone, financial loss or a loss of a relative because you killed them, whatever, that's murder. So you should be tried by your jury, and then you will be punished.
Jury of your peers.
Correct.
It's very fascinating, and I think we could talk forever as far as this is concerned. But I think you've given the majority of the basic idea for people to understand that there is another system that they can step into. And the beauty I like at the moment is that I can use the system if I want to, i.e. for things like maybe for driving. I know it's not called driving, it's traveling, but you can partake in that if you wish, and you can step out of other things like paying for your electric.
I mean, I had a bit of fun the other day. I came back. I deliberately didn't pay for my parking. That sounds dishonourable, but then why should I pay for parking? That's mine anyway. Yeah. So I came back. There's a parking ticket on there. So I thought, okay, it's not addressed to me. So it's in a little white plastic envelope, PCN, Test Valley Borough Council. So I drove up to the council offices and I went to the receptionist. Someone left this on my car. I don't know who it's for. I said, but it's not addressed to me, so I'm just going to give it back to you. Thank you very much. Have a good day. And walked away.
Wow.
Because
no comeback so far. No comeback so far.
Absolutely nothing. That was 3 weeks ago. So I've had absolutely nothing.
Wow. I think that I've emphasised this to our subscribers and viewers before because I made a little video about it. Fear. Fear is fear of consequences. I think that is what it boils down to. Because I've heard it many times. People said to me, "Oh, I could never stop paying for my electric because they would come and arrest me and cut me off and things like this." I'm saying, isn't that not a consequence? Right, and they would say, "Yeah, that's a consequence of doing something." Well, you're making fear out of that consequence.
Correct.
So you'll never do it. You will never do something if you're fearful.
Exactly, and I say you've got to know who you are inside. A lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm just going to go and do this." I said, "Well, who are you?" All I'm saying, I said, "Well, do you know who you are? Are you ready to stand up? Are you ready to take responsibility for your own actions?" And this is the problem. People are doing loads and loads of things that someone else has said, "Oh, do this," and they get themselves started. But they're not prepared to take responsibility for their own actions. No, man, always used to say, actions have consequences. So if you go down the road and action, there will be a consequence. Are you ready to face that?
Yeah.
And that's where I go. And I think, look, I'm happy. I'll face it. Anything me. Don't bother me.
Yeah. I mean, but there are a lot of people out there at the moment. I've discovered a few more people doing very similar to you, offering this lovely advice. But some of it, you think, I think I'll stick with Andy because his advice seems to be generally more, more truthful.
I think the difference between me and maybe others, it's just me, it's just my view, is because I will actually physically test things myself. I will go out and get the parking tickets, get the dart charges, the congestion charges, the ULEZ charges, whatever. I'll go out and get all these, and I'll test my process to make sure they work. And plus, I don't charge fees, as you know. I will not ever charge a fee for something. I know there's groups out there charging hundreds, if not thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
Sorry, rip-off artists. All my templates are free. Have them.
Yeah.
So join the Telegram group.
I've done one. I've just done a little template. You can't see that. It's actually the payment, the non-payment thing for the electric.
Mm-hmm.
Non-payment of invoice. So that's on the second stage at the moment. So,
oh, you really are going for it.
oh yeah, no. Well, they've had 4 days extra than they were given, and they haven't bothered to. I've had loads of responses from them regarding your complaint.
Oh, they love that.
I never complained.
All I do on the top of my notice, they see that when I write back from the conditional acceptance back and say, take note, this is not an appeal or a complaint in any form whatsoever.
Yeah. So I'm happy with where it's gone at the moment, and I feel like I'm in control as a living man. I'm in control of this particular issue, and if I get to the end of it and I get some money out of it, I should be in Thailand.
That's what it's all about. I mean, this is it. The system is there. It is rigged against us because of our indoctrination. But once you learn to play the game and you don't join your name, you can have so much fun with it. You really can.
What I'm really worried about is making the mistake of re-engaging, and I'm always like checking myself and thinking, have I done that correct? Is it going to lead them to be able to find a back door in? And I've got this obviously from the from your resources. There's a you can't see it. It's a notice trespass notice to go on my door. I've already got one on there which I made, but it's not very good, so I'm going to use this one, which seems a lot better.
Just think of it. There's another way you can use the no trespass notice, don't you? Know the three no trespass notices. You heard of that one?
No.
Right. If you've got a pathway leading up to your house or driveway, or people have to walk up to where you are, stick three no trespass signs up. One near the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the door. So when they come to your door, they say, hello, my name's Mr. So and so from Masters. Are you Andy Wright? And you go, well, who are you?
Who are you?
And then they'll start. And once they start talking, it goes like blah 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 in my ear. Then I turn around and say, did you see the three no trespass signs? Well, I'm so and so from Martin. I don't care who you are. I asked you a question. Can you give me a yes or no answer, please? Did you see the three no trespass signs? Well, I'm so and so, and they'll continue their script and I'll trip you up. So I've asked him twice. So the third time I say, I'm going to ask you for the third and final time. Did you see the three no trespass signs? And you can put whatever you like. Were you dropped on your head as a baby? Do you know what I mean? Were you held onto the bathwater for too long or whatever? You can do whatever you want with them, have a bit of fun with it. But say to them, did you see the three no trespass signs? It's a simple yes or no answer. And at that point, they'll feel like they've got to say yes, and invariably they do. So thank you very much. You're now trespassing. If you do not leave your property in my land within the next 30 seconds, I will call the police and have you arrested for aggravated trespass, which is a criminal offence, and then shut the door. You don't have to engage with anyone. A lot of people, unfortunately, feel they have to engage. They have to talk to them. You know, you are. You're standing over them. They have to understand you. So if you understand, and they go, yeah, got them.
Yep. I've got one better than that, Andy. I've got myself one of them video doorbells. So I haven't even got to answer the door. I can do it via my phone. If they ring my doorbell, I can just say, who are you? Go away. And end the call. And that's it. Done and dusted.
Awesome. Well done, you.
Well, I can't be bothered with all this hassle. You know, in fact, it was quite funny that the day that I put it up, the doorbell rang and I answered it. And I go, there's two women outside. And I go, who are you? What do you want? And they go, Jehovah's Witness. I said, no, thank you, bye. And that was it. Done. And I felt so good about it. I really did. Felt really positive.
No, that's good.
It's been brilliant. And for the sake of 48 quid, I got it on deal.
It's peace of mind at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I read about horror stories about bailiffs and things like this, busting down your doors and things like this. And I think you open your door a little bit and it's an invitation. And I'm thinking, why do I want to put myself through that? I don't want that. I'm not even going to bother answering the door.
This is the problem, you see, because there's all these videos going out there saying, look what the bailiffs have done here. My question is this: why is it they only ever show you a video of what actually happened, but they don't show you what happened before and the after? So what led up to that point? What process have they done? I look at that as fear porn. I really do.
Yeah.
I look at it as, you're just trying to create more fear. And unfortunately, the truth of movement's terrible for that.
Yeah, they are. And you have to be very careful. Because, there are people watching this who are thinking, hey, I wouldn't mind having a go at that. But I've already told them all that they want help. They need to get me to help them, because I've already had it where somebody tried to contact they contacted their own energy supplier and said, can I change my meter? And they went, no, it's illegal. It's like, it's not illegal.
No.
So why did you ask them? You didn't ask me. And it's like, but you've got this barrier of they think it's like a game, I think, some people. But it's not, because I'm saving himself £200 a month.
Yeah, the things at the end of the day, when you know how the system works and you know certain legislation, you can play the acts and statutes against them, and even they will then go and break their acts and statutes. Especially with the promissory notes we're using, they try and say, we can't accept promissory notes. Why not? It's not legal tender. Actually, it is. Go back to the Bill of Exchange Act 1882, mate, Section 4, and read it and tell me then. And then show me your exemption why you can't accept a promissory note. So
I know it's not on the subject, because we're actually going over time now, and I just want to thank you for your time. But I just want to ask you, if I was, I know it's off the subject of this, but if promissory notes, I've got a loan, right, with a bank, a substantial amount of money that I'm paying back every month. If I use one of those to pay it off, for example, that would obviously affect any future chances of getting any loans, would it?
Why would it?
Well, I don't know. I'm asking the question. If it would.
This is their system. Now, they're going to let us use the system to our advantage if we want to. So if you use promissory notes to pay off your credit card debts, and then invariably they're going to shut your credit cards down. You won't ever get another one. However, if you present a promissory note correctly and it's honourable and it's offered to them and they accept it by virtue means they've signed for it, they've handled it, they've not returned it to you. And under law, they have 3 days to return it. They don't. They just don't accept it. But most loans, as long as there's no charges against anything, it's just an unsecured loan, can be used to pay it off. Because the bank loan itself is a promissory note.
Yeah.
So whenever you sign a loan, mortgage, it's a promissory note, and they'll go and securitize it. And they will quite happily take another one, but they'll make you work for it. So it could take anything from 3 weeks to 3 months to 6 months to 9 months. It'll take you however it longs to take to clear it. But eventually, the process I use, which no one else in this country is using as far as I'm aware, is a 6-stage process. So it has remedy built into it all the way down the line.
Right. Well, I think for me at the moment, that's probably way out of my league at the moment. But I think that in the future, I might look into that, because I've got another 2.5 years to go on it. So it's quite a long time for me.
It's always worth looking into. Yeah. What I'm doing, I don't know if you know what we're doing now, is we're doing workshops. I'm actually going out doing workshops for people and teaching people how it's worth doing it. I did sign up for a Zoom class, but I had to cancel it because I had the problem with my dad. So I didn't get to see it, but I will do it again. I'll try. And get we're going to do another one next week, so we'll set that up next week. But there's all sorts out there can help.
It's brilliant talking to you again.
That's lovely seeing you again. It's been a while.
It has been a long time, and I really, I say it genuinely from my heart that I really appreciate your support and coming on. And I know you're really busy, and I really do thank you for that. And I'm sure that everybody, if I'll put the link down below, but I'm sure you're going to get loads of new people coming over and talking about what we've talked about today.
No,
So really, really thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Andy, it's my pleasure. It was always my pleasure. What you're doing is phenomenal, and I feel honoured to be on this show. So thank you very much for that. Really do.
Thank you.
You have a lovely day.
And you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, what a load of bloody rubbish, but it is all true. All of this can be traced, and you can do your own research. You will find that the idea of contracts is something that you can use against them, and certainly when you want to change your lecky meter and stop paying because it's illegal, basically for them to do it, it's fraud. Now obviously they're going to try and get some consequences for that, but hey, watch my video on fear. If there's no fear of consequences, then they cannot do anything to you. Now I do appreciate that a lot of this is new and going to be quite shocking, but bear with it, and we'll come back with some more next video. Have a good day.